Hey everybody, welcome back to Cosmic Life Astrology. Today we are talking about the Sun squaring Pluto. So this is going to be an aspect that will influence the week ahead. It is a strong one. It can be very heavy and challenging because this is happening at the 29th degree of Libra and Capricorn. And so when we're talking about an anaretic degree, there's pressure to finish something. So the Sun is at 29 degrees Libra, Pluto's at 29 degrees Capricorn. We're talking a push for change in relationship dynamics, a push for change with old, outdated ways of doing things or entanglements, old structures that need to be changed. This is yet again another curtain call that we have with the Pluto and Capricorn story that's coming to an end over the next month. It's like, the cosmos are pushing us to the finish line, like, hey, we're almost done here. We got to clean this stuff up before we move on to the next, and with the Sun at 29 degrees of Libra, this is very much a focus on justice and decisions that need to be made, a need for diplomacy. And it could be money and creative projects as well that are involved, with Libra being ruled by Venus. But overall, this is a challenging aspect. Squares are challenging. There's a need for decisions. There's a need to make some kind of move, a need for compromise, possibly, especially with Libra. But with the Sun making the square to Pluto, the Sun could have to do with male or, authority figures, people in power. And, making that square to Pluto, there could be very much a pressure on those figures, on authority figures or solar figures, so to speak. But also a need for personal power to be involved in some way. There could be power struggles that need to come to an end, or an abuse of power that needs to come to an end. And the reason why I say abuse of power is because while this aspect is going on today, we have Mercury making a trine to Saturn. And so Mercury is in Scorpio. Mercury wants to talk about things that are hidden beneath the rug. When it's in Scorpio, Mercury wants to dig deep emotionally, is not afraid to talk about taboo subjects or things that are raunchy or, passion focused. But Mercury in Scorpio can be spiteful, depending on what's going on. It's, Mercury in Scorpio doesn't hold back, from speaking what it feels, right? And Scorpio can feel a lot of feelings. It's a water sign, it does have deep emotions. With the trine aspect to Saturn, there's a need to be real, but having to use discretion or, your inner authority and discipline to address things that need to be addressed. There could be emotional conversations that need to be had that should have been had possibly, whether it's far back or, things that have just been brushed under the rug recently that need to be talked about. There could be a need for discussions about possessions and money, and, Saturn's going to help bring resolution that, especially if it's, regarding something that's being closed out with Pisces, something that's being released. There could be, very much a focus on, our authority, our strength, and having those emotionally mature conversations, right? And not, take the lower energies or lower possibilities of Mercury and Scorpio, where there could be a potential for being, very raw and vengeful, and possibly, intentionally hurtful. This could be, where you need to curb your language a little bit, But, you know, this influence during the square between the sun and Pluto really is helping us to bring things out that need to be brought out into the open, to help finalize a chapter that needs to come to a close. So right before I made this video, or right before I started taping, I noticed I had a news alert pop up, and I was like, wow, I need to bring this up when I tape the video because it's so in line with the potential. And I'm not saying this is going to happen to everybody, but this is how the cosmos play out when certain alignments happen. But there was a CEO that was arrested today from a company, and I'm going to curb my language because of YouTube censory and yada yada, but there was a CEO arrested today for essentially his abuse of power, and exploiting young aspiring models. And so this is very much in line with the kind of things that we may see playing out, and this may play out all week, where we see news of this happening throughout the week, where there are people in positions of power that are being called out and held accountable for their actions. Libra, you know, things that cannot proceed anymore, that are, you know, that need to be purged because they're not, you know, they can't be held behind the curtain and, you know, in secrecy anymore. Very much Pluto, you know, Pluto doesn't want things to be hidden under the rug. Pluto wants things to be, you know, addressed head on, and wants truth and, you know, firm foundation, especially in Capricorn. So, you know, when I saw that, I said, you know, I got to bring this up in a YouTube appropriate way, because this is very much a not surprising situation that aligns with this kind of astrology. Now, you know, in your own individual life, this could be, you know, say you're going through a divorce and there's, you know, conflict about money and possessions, Scorpio, right? Where, you know, Saturn's going to require some discipline and some wherewithal for you to come to a resolution, a mature conversation that needs to be had about those things, so you can bring things to an end, Sun squaring Pluto, okay, and be able to move on to that next chapter. Or, you know, if this is in your career, you know, there could be dynamics involved in your work life that need to come to an end in order to, you know, make improvements within the company. And you need to have those mature conversations with higher ups in order to, you know, address issues head on, to have a, you know, a more well-oiled machine, I guess you can say. So it really all depends on what's going on in your life. And by the way, a lot of times astrology doesn't always affect every single person in the entire world. That's not how it plays out, because we feel the effects of the planets aligning more so when it's hitting a personal planet or a personal angle in your chart. You know, that's when you're very strongly affected by it. For the times that it's not hitting something in your chart, you may see this more play out for other people around you, or, you know, in the news where you see things happening where it's like, oh, that's so in line with what's going on in the cosmos. So, you know, I don't want you to be fearful of some kind of, you know, crisis situation that can come up during this week, because it may not apply to you. You may be one of the lucky ones that you don't have this hitting you as strongly as other people, and you may not see it play out for you in this way. And you may not see anything happen in your world, but these are all potentials with these kinds of alignments. So, you know, I wouldn't, I always say forewarned is forearmed. So knowing, you know, the potentials of what can transpire based off of how astrology works and how planetary connections work, you know, it's always good to have, you know, in your back pocket and know, okay, this is a possibility and I'll know how to navigate it now, knowing that that potential may be. So this is something, like I mentioned before, that may play out throughout the week. We have other things that are happening throughout the week that I will make a separate video on, so stay tuned for that. And just keep yourself grounded during this time, because this can be very challenging and intense for people if it's affecting you personally. So with that, I hope you all have a great week despite any challenges that may come. And if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please do so. I want to thank a lot of the recent subscribers that have joined my channel. I greatly appreciate all the feedback I've been getting from you guys. So please feel free to share your comments or ask any questions. I do respond to all of the comments, and share the video and like it and do all the things. And if you want to follow me on Instagram, you can find me at Cosmic Life Astrology on Instagram as well. So stay tuned for more videos and take care, everybody.